Muffin is a character that is often centered around controversy within the community.
Whoa, what's up with you, Muffin?
There's usually two polarizing camps people fall into when discussing her. Either they absolutely love her, or they absolutely hate her. But I want to talk about why I feel like she's the most misunderstood character in this series.
Oh.
And it's all about what the show is choosing to represent with her. Muffin Healer is a character that is commonly seen acting out in behaviors that seems inappropriate. And sometimes this leads to the audience even blaming her parents on her actions, due to their parenting style seeming to be a little lenient, especially on Stripe's front.
Well, gotta run!
And while her actions do seem worse compared to other characters we get more screen time on, like the Golden Child Bingo, I feel like we often forget that Muffin's actions and choices are ones meant to represent kids in her age group, instead of being a quote-unquote devil incarnate. I know, a bit harsh, but those aren't my words, whose sole purpose is to be evil. I started talking about Bluey due to my history of working with kids in a therapeutic setting, which has inspired me to start this series. And with Muffin being the age that she is, the writers purposely packages her with the same difficulties that parents often experience with children aged 3 to 4, with the majority of her showcasing being when she was 3.
She is only 3.
And these acting out moments you see in the show, and even in real life, are normal and usually stemmed from quite a range of things that I'll get into a little bit. But before we get into the flamingos and tutus of the video,
I need a tutu! Muffin!
don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You have no idea how much helps me out to get these videos out to more fans like you. And let's discuss why Muffin is the most misunderstood character in Bluey.
Am I special?
Muffy, you're the most special kid in the whole world.
Ooh, interesting. Ooh. I can play however I want. Ah! Poppy!
What's up, gang?
Muffin's not playing properly.
Did she say why?
She says because she's the most special kid in the world.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Muffin! Whoa! What is that? It's a cone!
Trix, are you sure about this? It's a bit of tough love, that's all.
All right. It's just, I think she's feeling a little embarrassed about her cone.
Why can't you just not suck your thumb? I don't know. I just can't.
She will one day.
Hooray!
Just don't give up on her, okay?
To start, it's important to briefly go over why kids this age act like Muffin sometimes.
Aha!
As stated before, Muffin has a lot of moments where she's acting out, and these acting out moments you see in the show, and even in real life, are normal and usually stems from them just beginning to form their understanding on their emotions, self-control,
Muffin, don't suck your thumb.
and not to mention testing social skills.
Horses can't talk!
A lot and a lot of testing.
Oh, Muffin.
Because of this, it can almost seem like their emotions are on a giant wheel, never knowing what it will land on next with what they encounter. Sometimes the reactions are in line with what you would expect, and sometimes they throw a curveball, throwing stuff like this.
That biped is mine! Muffin! It's all mine!
Although really challenging to deal with, it's all relatively normal. Children at this age don't yet understand the concept that others have feelings, and causes scenes that make Muffin seem egocentric. For example, in Charades, where they're playing, you guessed it, charades, majority of the episode is centered around Muffin wanting her performance of a ballerina to be perfect.
But I wanna do the ballerina!
In her mind, she needs a tutu to complete the look.
I need a tutu!
She needs music to dance,
It needs to be proper ballerina music!
more or less disregarding the entire concept of charades and disregarding the obvious frustration this causes everyone. But once again, these actions that come off as thoughtless and mean-spirited are in part of a young child's no-filter mannerisms that are developmentally natural for them to have. And it isn't because Muffin is a bad child. In fact, Muffin is a character that is on occasion shown to have a caring personality within the same episode, where she holds the popsicle for Socks since Socks is unable to, and even feels bad in the episode Granny Mobile, where she plays the role of a grouchy granny a little too well.
Hurry up! Bluey, grouchy granny is a bit too grouchy. Are you sure there isn't another type of granny?
There's going to be bad moments and good moments in every developing child, which is shown purposely through Muffin, and balancing these can be really difficult during this age, because sometimes it feels like the bad outweighs the good, and can make the parenting process really delicate, especially when it comes to know how to discipline, which is usually where people's viewpoints are the most polarizing for Muffin. It's undeniable that the way your child develops is hugely attributed to the way you parent your children, and unfortunately there is not one correct way to do it.
But how come she can say it and we can't?
Because different families have different rules.
And the tricky thing that comes with it is learning how to respond to your children when acting out occurs. For Muffin's case, there are plenty of viewers who watch and feel like it's necessary for Stripe and Trixie to choose a different approach towards Muffin. I'd argue that the way Stripe and Trixie are presented is decently accurate to real life, and even have great examples of managing Muffin's behaviors. But the difficult part that comes with parenting your own Muffin is finding the balance on how much freedom you give them, with both Trixie and Stripe being opposites in this balancing act. To start with Stripe, in the episode Library, Stripe makes a mistake while driving and goes through a yellow light,
You tried through an orange light.
causing Stripe to scramble for a reason why he didn't listen. He says because it was a special situation.
This was a special case.
Now, kids are little sponges and will often copy the actions of their parents. So when asking her dad,
Am I special?
Stripe says something Muffin takes quite literally.
Muffy, you're the most special kid in the whole world.
Ooh, interesting.
To Muffin, she now correlates the idea that if something or someone is special, they don't have to listen to anyone, essentially copycatting what she saw her father do, which was him not listening to the rules of the road, causing her immediately in the next scene to do this.
Hello.
Hi, Muffin. Oh, wipe your feet in the towel, honey. It's
I
a
don't
bit...
have to, Aunt Tilly. I'm special.
Okay.
Carrying over to the kids' game Library, where she refuses to listen to any rules and just does anything she wants.
The library rules are you can do 3 books out at a time. Muffin, that's too many books. I can play however I want.
I have to stress that this new mentality of hers might seem a bit harsh, but for her it's completely innocent. She's just doing what she saw her father do, and in the eyes of a child, their parents are individuals that can do no wrong. And eventually this leads to a boiling point where the kids refuse to let Muffin play, where we get a scene that is critical to analyze for Stripe's parenting style, because after Muffin says this,
Bluey isn't letting me play library.
Oh.
we get a quick glance from the two looking at each other, and with Chili realizing Stripe isn't going to do anything, she is forced to take initiative and confront not Muffin, but Bluey.
Bluey!
Yes, Mom?
Can you include Muffin in your game, please?
We are, but she's not playing properly.
I love this small detail because parenting another parent's kid is a slippery slope that seems correct logically, but not only does this lead to conflicts between parents, it often doesn't yield the same results that would occur if Stripe talked to Muffin. So with Chili knowing this, she is forced to play smart by talking to Bluey acting as a peacekeeper, and rightfully gives Stripe a side eye when Stripe gives too much freedom with this line,
Well, everyone has their own way of playing, Bluey.
which once again allows Muffin to continue her chaos.
Poppy!
As for the episode Muffin Cone, it's a lot more subtle, but it's a rather beautiful one once you realize the deeper meaning, where Muffin is having trouble stopping a bad habit,
Muffin, don't suck your thumb.
I want to do what I want!
which leads to Muffin being heavily restricted by Trixie.
What is that?
A polar opposite to Stripe's methods of giving all the freedom that Muffin wants, like in Library, with once again Muffin acting as a sponge to her parents, with her mother this time, but it's a bit more subconscious, where while Muffin is having trouble with her thumb sucking, Trixie is also having trouble staying on her diet, with both taking any opportunity they can to feed into their behavior. Muffin already has this wall that prevents her from doing this bad behavior, so problem solved. But this wall is also preventing her from truly learning and causing Muffin to become overly upset with her situation,
I just can't.
which is a con of Trixie's parenting style. With this being paralleled to Trixie, where Chili attempts to build a wall for Trixie, which is trying to take away the chips.
I can resist.
But for both Trixie and Muffin, the solution isn't to restrict access, because they aren't going to learn this way. Restricting access to deal with your struggles doesn't allow for growth. Instead, you need some form of freedom to allow yourself, especially kids, to healthily learn self-control. Both episodes, Library and Muffin Cone, shows what happens when you lean into too much freedom or too little freedom, but both beautifully coalesce with their endings. Where in Library, Stripe has to confront Muffin's behavior directly.
You know how I said you're the most special kid in the world?
Yes.
Well, you're not.
But also in a calm manner, giving us a rather tender moment.
I mean, you are to me and your mum. We love you more than anything. But you're probably not special to everyone else.
Oh, okay.
So you have to follow the same rules as everyone, okay?
Okay, Dad.
Thanks, kiddo.
With Stripe taking this talk to heart as well for himself and is shown listening to the rules of the road.
Good one, Dad.
Thanks, princess.
While with Muffin Cone, Chili has to once again be the peacekeeper like in Library after she sees Muffin being upset,
Oh,
choosing to confront Bluey again, where we get to hear a very important lesson from Chili.
I think she's feeling a little embarrassed about her cone.
Well, why can't she just not suck her thumb?
She will one day. Just don't give up on her, okay?
What I really love about the delivery of this is that it almost feels like Chili is talking to the audience who might be in the same shoes as Trixie, reminding us that although it's going to take time, don't give up on the Muffin in your life. But this also serves to encourage the girls to help Muffin by redirecting her attention from her thumb into play.
Well then, we're going to think of a game where your cone is okay. Really? Yeah. Thanks, Bluey. Yeah. Yeah.
The restriction is still there, sure, but she's so preoccupied that she doesn't even focus on her thumb like she did before. And while it's hard to say if Trixie ever learned her lesson with Muffin like Stripe and Muffin did together in Library, we can see Muffin in the ending car scene calling her dad's attention before sucking her thumb,
Hey, Dad, look at me.
when before she tried to do it sneakily, subtly showing that she learned some self-control for her habit and is only doing it briefly to instead have the same fun she had before with her cone.
Cone of shame.
Once again, it's all really a balancing act that you have to do when helping your children at this age, in really all ages, but I'd argue that it's the hardest around Muffin's age. Because at this age, they don't entirely process punishment in the way that you'd hope.
Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, just do your best, kid.
Instead, it's usually best to lead by example, and that's exactly what the Healer family does, including Stripe and Trixie. They show understanding and forgiveness,
She doesn't know any better yet. We have to teach her.
and they focus on building love and trust to help Muffin grow. It's just that sometimes parenting a child at this age can be extremely exhausting and delicate, so it can be normal for a parent to feel like they're doing something wrong due to the Little's almost unpredictable nature, which is represented in the episode Facey Talk quite well. Muffin spends the entire day hogging a tablet when Muffin's little sister Socks wants a turn, and although Stripe tries to set boundaries,
I'm setting a timer on my phone. When it goes off, it's Socks' turn, okay, Muffy?
Muffin doesn't want to hear any of it.
Buh.
Eventually comes the time where the timer goes off, and still, Muffin doesn't want to listen, causing one of the most creative chase scenes in the show until they get to the bathroom, where we start to hear an extremely touching scene with Stripe and Trixie squabbling on how they should parent and which one is right.
We don't do timeout anymore.
What? Since when?
I read a blog.
You didn't tell me.
Because you're never here.
The difficult part about this scene is that this is a situation that will most likely happen to everyone at some point. It's impossible to 100% always be on the same page, especially with parenting, and when it gets to a boiling point like this, it can make it even harder to agree on a solution. Both parents feel the need to set boundaries by their standards, and this standard can change rapidly, like when Trixie says,
We don't do timeout anymore.
What? Since when?
I read a blog.
You didn't tell me.
because she's trying to do what she feels is best, based on experts, but hasn't communicated it with Stripe. But this small little difference is causing a big conflict between the two. And I really feel for Stripe here when he starts to avoid eye contact and says something from the heart.
I feel like you hog all the parenting.
Oh.
It's clearly something that is hard for him to communicate if you look at his body language, and they both in the end just want what's best for Muffin. But as the mic gets muted, we are left with only music and body language to tell the rest, as the two parents share a very special moment together. finally coming to an agreement together to catch the little rascal. And just before they capture her, she accidentally flings the phone into the air and into the pool, as the two parents showcase their reforged alliance, saying Muffin's discipline in unison.
Muffin?
Yes?
Time out.
Okay.
The way the studio uses Muffin to showcase the sometimes unpleasantries of toddlers is honestly rather refreshing. It's hard to find a show that chooses to use a toddler character as a catalyst for showcasing different parenting styles, positive discipline, and while still allowing toddlers to act like toddlers and not be perfect. The studios at Bluey really strive to showcase everyone in a realistic manner and can be a really great learning opportunity for learning behaviors in children if you really take in what they are showing. Like all toddlers, Muffin isn't conflicting with others because she wants to be a troublemaker. It really stems from so many different things and leads to why I feel like she's so misunderstood by so many individuals that might just be looking at her on a surface level. I really implore you all to check out some episodes with Muffin and maybe give me your own thoughts on how she is portrayed. And maybe even tell me if this video helped change your mind on the character. I'm always a sucker for hearing your thoughts because you buddies always have something interesting to say. Reading your comments is honestly one of my greatest joys due to how varied and thought out your opinions are sometimes, so I always have a blast reading them. And please join me next time as we analyze everything Bluey. Once again, I'm being spontaneous with my video ideas, so I don't want to promise one idea quite yet, but don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any new video that I post. At this point, I just want to showcase some of the amazing fan art I was sent from the ever-talented artists in the community. All of their handles will be on the bottom left of the screen, with the first one being from Bud Pixels. Now, Bud Pixels is an artist in the community that uses pixel art as their medium for all their art, which is absolutely incredible. They make these amazing fluent animations that are just absolutely top tier considering he's only 18. I wish I was this good at art when I was 18. It's incredible. But you can see here I'm literally in front of a Jack shrine with a Jack plushie, figurine in the casing, as well as the healer family on the actual shrine as well, with the signature thumbs up pose from Jack there. And this next one is by Risa, and I just gotta say I love this art style. It's extremely cute. I've had other people react in a way that makes it seem a little creepy, so maybe you can give me your opinions on it, but I think it's really cute. And I love that the nose is a little heart, me holding a little Jack plushie. It's just extremely cute. They drew my OC in a really, really adorable way, and I just love their art style. And this next one is by Sammy, and I'm a big sucker for seeing different ways how people draw fur, and the way they draw the fur is really unique. I haven't quite seen an artist do it in this particular manner, but I think it came out really good, and I really love the expression that they communicate with my face as well as eyebrows. It really sells this happy feeling that just honestly makes my day looking at. And this next one is by Cardinal. As you can see here, it is a hand-drawn piece. I always love getting a hand-drawn piece because usually the medium that most people draw with nowadays are digital, so seeing one on paper is just a little special for me. And I think this art piece is just really nice. I'm holding up a nice little peace sign, giving a nice little smile. It just gives some nice vibes. I think it's very nice. And I just have to say, if I haven't shown your fan art yet, don't worry. There are quite a bit of fan art pieces that I'm trying to get to. Some newer art pieces are being shown, some older art pieces being shown, so I'm trying to get to all of them equally as fast as I can. But if you'd also like to send me your art, please send me a DM on my Twitter here. And I just have to say, I appreciate all the talented artists that sent me their art. Of course, you can check out their pages down below with all their links being down there. And I just want to say also thank you to the members to support me to keep making these videos as little as $5 a month, which are Rick Iglesias, Hogsmeade, Jonathan, Tasuga, Mr. Kitty, Zach Stryker, Zachary Strawmit, Snowy, Tom of Essex, Jonathan Pate, NZ Gorham, Fluffpaws, and Tyler's from Texas. And if you'd also like to support me, make sure to click my link in the comments description or in the top right to become a member. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.